Hello, hello, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome to day 4 of the Search for Significance 5-Day Identity Challenge. Welcome if you are new. Welcome back if you've been rocking with me this week. We are getting to the end of our week, and I'm so excited about what is transpiring in the messages that I've been receiving this week. I feel excellent about this. And I just hope that more women continue to see this message. I hope that you all are sharing it out in your communities, in your circles, because this is just honestly an opportunity for a wonderful, refreshing, a wonderful, life changing opportunity to focus on your personal significance and how you can make a difference in our world. What greater thing to focus our attention on this week? So, as I stated, we are in day 4 of the challenge. I'm your challenge host, Regina Coley, aka The Motivator. I am an identity and leadership development specialist and CEO of MotivatHER Inc. Our mission at MotivatHER Inc. is to help you make your mark, to make a difference in the way that you work and live. We strive to give you a space where you can grow and succeed, where you can create your own personal mark on the world in your personal and professional life. So, welcome, welcome. I want to invite you to join the Motivator Text Club. If you can use an extra boost of motivation in your week by texting 770-746-8240. You can say anything. You can say, hello, hey, came here from wherever it is that you're checking in from, or I heard about you from the Search for a Significant Challenge. Just let me know where you're dropping in from in our beautiful world. I would love to see you on the Text Club. This is the place where I announce new goodies that are available through Motivator, new challenges, new resources that are made to help make you better. So make sure that you are a part of the crew that gets that message first. Why are we focusing on significance? Well, if this is your first day joining me, I will be glad to introduce you to it. But if you've been here, you already know. I believe that women want to feel significant and seen. However, I feel like most women feel sometimes that they're unimportant or insignificant or less than other women in our world. And what they do or what they say is just never enough. We live up to this false expectation of just having to do the most. And I think it's hurting our women. I think it's hurting their purpose. And I think it's making a false narrative of competition that doesn't really exist. So I think that we needed a shift right now from not only looking beautiful and confident on the outside, but making sure that that's something that oozes from the inside. I think purpose oozes from the inside. I think significance oozes from the inside. I think people who just have a worthy life, the abundant life, they just ooze something and glow differently because they understand that their life is made different now. And it does cause us to look at the way that we live life differently, the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we carry ourselves, the places that we show up in. It's just different. So, right now, this is a huge area of focus, and I think it's of the utmost importance because, hey, I want to see more women winning, don't you? I want to see more people operating in their purpose and smiling and experiencing joy. Right now, when I look at our world, I see a lot of people who are stressed, who are angry, who are rushing, who are busy. And it's just like, man, when did we get like this? So I thought that this challenge would be a wonderful opportunity for us to step into our place of significance, slow down enough to understand what our higher calling is, and then just give that our time and attention this week. So, all throughout this week, we have been learning about some different false belief systems or faulty belief systems. We've replaced it with the truth of who we are. We talked a lot about what significance is. We've read about renewing our mind, renewing our hearts. We talked a little bit about our true worth and what it is that God created us to do. We talked about the purpose of significance and how it can steer and direct our lives. And then we jumped into yesterday talking about specifically what it means to become a leader, what it means to equip others and build up and listen. So we got into a lot of what leaders are able to do in their capacity of equipping others. And I think that that's the most important aspect of leadership. It's not about a personal brand. It's not about building your name or building yourself up or puffing yourself up. It is literally about serving others. And so yesterday's focus, if you haven't listened to that, all the replays are still up. I'm going to leave them up throughout the challenge so that you can get caught up on whatever day you may have missed. So I would challenge you to listen to day 3, where we talked a lot about equipping, and so that you can lead others well. And so today, well, right now, this is one of our messages from yesterday, is now that your value is solidified, now that you understand your significance, now that you understand the truth of who you are, it needs to be amplified. And so I want to reread this scripture again. We read it yesterday, but I want to read it again because I don't think we really grasp things the first time around. I love to reread. I love to review. I love to meditate because it gives us time to soak things in. Again, I'm not a part of a rushed or a hurry culture. And I think sometimes we miss things and we miss the memo because we're just in a rush, right? So let's reread it again. As a prisoner for the Lord, this is a letter from Paul. As a prisoner from the Lord, then I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when you were called. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. But to each of us grace has been given as Christ apportioned it. This is why it says, when he ascended on high, he took many captives and gave gifts to his people. What does he ascended mean except that he also descended to the lower earthly regions? He who descended is the very one who ascended higher than all the heavens in order to fill the whole universe. So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, the teachers to equip his people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up. This is what we talked about yesterday, equipping people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge in the Son of God and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. Then we will no longer be infants tossed back and forth by the waves and blown here and there by every wind of teaching and the cunning and craftiness of people and their deceitful scheming. Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of him who is the head, that is Christ. From him, the whole body, joined and held together by every supporting ligament, grows and builds itself up in love as each part does its work. This, I feel, excuse me, I need something to drink. Hold on just a second. Thank you. I feel like the instructions here are so clear in terms of what our call to significance is. First of all, it talks specifically about a life worthy of the calling that we have received, that to be humble and gentle. And so, again, when I say things like this is not about building yourself up personally, your brand, making your name known in the world, but it is about understanding your skill set as a leader, as a teacher, as an exhorter, whatever that gift is that you have. This is about how you go about doing that. And that says humbly and gently, being patient and bearing with one another in love. So also being a loving leader. And all of these things that these are not words that I feel are often associated in our culture today with leadership. Everything is about vision and direction and discipline. These are the words that I hear, and they're all relevant. These are requirements for leadership. But why is nobody talking about how to humble yourself, how to be gentle, how to love other people, how to be patient? I know that as leaders, sometimes even managers, they get into a place where they're so focused on their direction, they're so focused on reaching a goal that it makes them a little less than patient. And I think it's important for us to get back to exactly what it says here that we're supposed to be doing, because our Bible is our authority in life. And if we don't come back to it, listening to what the world tells us is important in regards to our leadership and significance has us steered in the wrong direction. So highlighting those words, I think, is very important. And also understanding that we're to keep unity of the spirit through the bond of peace. So we're supposed to be peacefully getting together so that we are one unit. Like we are one unit, we are one body. And as this verse goes on and on to say, we have to make sure that every supporting ligament grows and it builds itself up in love so that each person or part can do its work. So if we are doing that, we're leading a life worthy of your calling. And I said yesterday that we were going to get into that today in terms of what does that mean exactly? How do you lead a life worthy of your calling? What exactly does that mean? I read a poem in a book, and I have it here. I want to read it to you. I just love it. It's called You Tell on Yourself. And it's actually, let me tell you what book it's in because I love this book. It's called A Woman's High Calling 10 Ways to Live Out God's Plan for Your Life. It's by Elizabeth George. She is amazing. This book is amazing. And it's just like, it's one of my beloved books. So if you do not have it on your shelf, highly, highly recommend that you grab yourself a copy. But the poem is called You Tell on Yourself. You tell on yourself by the friends you seek, by the very manner in which you speak, by the way you employ your leisure time, by the way you make by the use you make of dollar and dime. You tell what you are by the things you wear, by the spirit in which you burdens bear, by the kind of things at which you laugh, by the record you play on the phonograph. You tell what you are by the way you walk, by the things of which you delight to talk, by the manner in which you bear defeat, by so simple a thing as how you eat, by the books you choose from the well filled shelf. In these ways and more, you tell on yourself. And I just love that because I believe as women who have this higher calling, who are looking to lead a life that reflects that, how amazing is it when your life speaks and teaches and your tongue is silent? You're not even speaking, but your life is speaking and teaching. And that to me, oftentimes I interchangeably use the word leadership for that reflective life where the things that you are doing is causing someone else to ascend higher in their speech, in their ways of being cultured, in their reading of books, in their music. They want to just make a change and make a difference because they see the light coming off of you in the way that you live. And so I believe once you solidify your significance. It is amplified, it is made larger in the world, it is magnified in this way where people can literally learn from you and you're not even speaking. It's just reflective in the way that you carry yourself. I know that there is a type of woman that I see, older women, where I'm like, wow, they're still so coiffed. The hair is curled, makeup is still done, and they're having a little brooch and suit, and it's just like the way they carry themselves, they look like they are somebody. It's like, well, I got to know who that is. Who is that? And I always pray when I'm in my old age that I'm able to carry myself in that way, that I'm not destitute and tired, that I still will be able to look like somebody. But I think that reflection, sometimes I can tell just who godly women are. It's just something about the way that they carry themselves. It's something about the way that they speak. It's something about the way that they nurture and how they just teach. It's just like it comes from years and years and years of practice, number one. It comes from a higher level of maturity, secondly. And I told you I just gravitate to people like that because I feel like they want to pass on that wisdom, and I'm totally open to receive it all. So when we talk about leading a life, think about how your life makes those reflections at all right now. And where are some ways in which you want to do that? In this poem, um, which I didn't want to put in the slides because I didn't have permission to repost it. But it talks about a couple of different things. It talks about your friends, your manners, how you spend your leisurely time, how you spend your money, the things you wear, the spirit that you take on when you're bearing your burdens. It talks about the music that you play, the things that you find funny or amusing, the way you walk, the way you talk, the things that you eat, what is on your bookshelf, and all of these ways and more you tell on yourself. You tell on yourself. So keep that in mind that your life is speaking even when you are not. And when we talk about this higher calling, it really is just such a beautiful truth and how our spirit resonates with our life. And so there are a couple of ways that you can also focus on leading a life worthy of the calling. And I believe that's how you spend your time, talent, and treasure. How are you spending your time? Where are you utilizing your talent? And how are you giving away your treasure? So, we talked a little bit this week about significance. And living a life that is significant can show up in a number of other ways as well. I believe once you amplify your significance, you can make a significant difference in someone's life. One thing that I'm always focused on is the ability to teach or mentor others. I believe that is a gift I've been given since I was a child. I can be amongst my peers and still want to help, still want to teach, still want to nurture, still want to say, did you get it? Do you understand? Do you need help with this? Did you have enough to eat? Sharing snacks. I just look at all these little things that create this big theme of teaching and mentoring. And it literally has been a part of my life. So I believe when you stop and really slow down and reflect on various aspects of your lives, there are certain themes that you'll see reoccurring in life. Were you the one who always got in trouble for talking? Do you have a powerful magnetic energy? Maybe you're called to be a speaker. Were you the person who always wanted to help others? Maybe you're called to be a teacher or a healer. Were you always the person who was concerned when someone got hurt and you wanted to comfort and nurture? I believe that these things have innately been a part of our entire being, our whole life, whether we really fully activated it, it just shows. So taking some time, I believe journals are just the tool of the leader, and they're wonderful reflective tools for women. We experience so much in a day that I think sometimes things get lost, and when you just slow down, I know we used to do this as young girls, kept a diary, and it was dear diary. Today I did da, 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 da. And it was just this wonderful way to record your memories and what happened in your life. And then we get older and we're too busy to do any of that. And I think sometimes if we're too busy, that we got to slow down. We weren't meant to be this busy. We have to be able to slow down because reflection offers an opportunity for inspection. And in introspection, we really do learn a lot more about ourselves. And so, journal, write things down. This is how I was intentionally spending some time making sure that I was learning more about myself and making sure that um, I don't miss anything. I always, I guess it's like a part of the fear of missing out. I wanted to make sure that I'm growing because I was constantly in a season of hearing if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're dying. Everything was centered around growth and being better than you were the last year. And so I was always questioning the position that I was in and making sure that when I come back and, check in with myself again the following year, that I've experienced some level of elevation and something has changed. And so journaling provided that outlet for me. And one of the things I always wanted to make sure is how was I making a difference in somebody else's life, not just my own, because that's a wonderful thing to do, but because my life was reflective of teaching and mentoring, that was one of the primary areas for me is how am I making a difference in the lives of my children? How am I making a difference in the life of my husband? How am I making a difference in the life of my family? And so I feel like because I was in that place, God gave me all of these beautiful ideas for things that we can do to build our family culture and rhythm and routine. And then I wanted to do the same in the business. Like, what can I do to help girls in my community? How can I make a difference even greater in somebody else's life? Because I feel like I was playing small. And God blessed me this year with business grants and partnerships, and the growth has been amazing. I really do have to give an honor to God because it has just been a wonderful place to be in, a wonderful season to experience. And I can't wait to see what else is going to happen, as the year progresses on, because we're right now in May, and I'm on cloud nine right now. I could just say that. So thinking about your own life, What are those themes that are reoccurring for you? And how can you help to make a difference in somebody else's life? Again, I'll always say, even if it's in your own home, even if it's in your own family, the people in your job, people in your church, the people in your women's group, book club, whatever, sorority, whatever it is that you're involved in, where can you make a difference? Even if it's just showing up. You know how you always have that one friend, when they show up, everything changes. It's like, oh, here they come, they're cracking jokes, or they're smiling, or they're goofy, or they're just serious. It's just like something about their attitude helps to change the entire atmosphere. I want you to be women of significance who change atmospheres with your attitudes. I want people to say, "Oh man, here she go," when they see you coming. I want them to say that about you in a good way, in a good way. But I want people to anticipate your consistency and showing up and knowing that that's who you're going to be every time that they experience you. So significance can make a significant difference in someone's life, and I hope and encourage and urge you to be reflecting on that this week as well. As you're taking your notes, make sure you're writing this down, but underneath there, as things come to you, just write it down. Can you bring in some donuts in the morning? If you're stopping at, Dunkin' Donuts, don't get on me, y'all. I love Dunkin' Donuts. If you're going to Dunkin' Donuts, could you get the jumbo coffee, to have enough for your department or your grade level if you're a teacher? Just do something nice for somebody else who may not have had an opportunity to stop for coffee and had a rough morning and just as appreciative. I know the other day I was in the Starbucks line and somebody had started to pay it forward. The person in front of me had paid for my meal, and I was just like, wow, that's what made a beautiful difference. Like, it was raining, I wasn't really in the best of moods, but I was going to go get coffee, and someone thought enough of me to pay for my things. And so I kept it going. I was like, all right, how much is the person behind me? Paid for their stuff too. And I always, I like it because I want to see what their face looks like when they find out. But you got to pull off and keep it moving. But those small things make a difference. So even those small gestures to pay it forward, think about an opportunity that you may have to do something like that this week. And your ability to be a woman of a significance can allow you to support a significant cause. There are so many causes in our world right now. One of which I know a lot of people are raising money as it relates to education and raising money as it relates to supporting mothers in our community. We're raising money to give food to certain populations. There are so many social justice movements that are happening right now in our world consistently that need funding. There are organizations that people like yourself who are leaders, who are budding leaders, rising leaders, they need support with, they need help with. And so these significant causes, especially any cause for me that relates to children, our future, what? I want to support that because someone made an investment in me. And so I always think about how grateful I am for that investment, and I want to be able to support children in my community in the same way. So I know that that's a significant cause for me. But there may be something that is very near and dear to you. It could be domestic violence. It could be something that you personally dealt with that felt like I said, those faulty beliefs of guilt and shame, things that you've experienced, but God allowed you to come out on the other side. Give back to causes that support those kind of things, initiatives in your community, organizations in your community that are doing the work. Come back and help in any way that you can. But understanding and planning out how you are going to do these things allows you to do this diligently, daily. And I think that that's the key marker here. It's not just the one time I did that one time 10 years ago. Yeah, girl, I know all about giving to the giving to someone. That's wonderful. But what are you doing consistently and diligently? And where else do you see other opportunities for you to expand on that giving and support? I believe that women of significance have significant words to share. This is why I'm such a proponent of writing, because I believe when you write words, they live on paper forever, and it becomes a work that is shared even when you are no longer speaking. And they can get shared globally, internationally. You can reach new markets by having your book translated into other languages. I just believe that women have significant words to share. And culturally, I know as a part of our African American heritage, We pass down significant words through storytelling. We've sat at the feet of our grandmothers and great grandmothers, and they shared stories of their youth and stories about all kinds of things. And we remember them and we roll our eyes because grandma done told that story 20 times and you know it like the back of your hand. And that's just how we pass down wisdom. That's how we pass down our history. And that's how we've done it historically, is to pass down messages and history through storytelling. And so, as a woman of significance, I believe that this is one major area we need to keep it going. Like, we're not going to stop what's working. If it's working, let it keep on doing its thing. But we have significant words to share, and those words need to be captured, whether it's books, whether it's speaking, whether it's videos, audios, podcasts. We have a plethora of ways to communicate now, but your significant words need to leave that beautiful brain of yours, and all of that brilliance needs to be shared with the world. Because even though you may be sharing a message that's been taught 1,000 times before, no one can tell it from your shoes. No one can tell it from your perspective. Even if we have stories that are similar, that are like, what is it like to be at home raising 8 kids? I know I used to think people have like 50 kids before, 15 kids who come from huge families. All of these things have been told, but maybe they haven't been told in a 2022 kind of way. Maybe they haven't been told as a homeschooling mom. Maybe they haven't been told on how are you balancing marriage and a business, and how do you do that? Because all of those other components were not also in the way when women raised large families long ago. So I had to stop sometimes and think, where my own thinking is starting to go awry, and get right back on the right track and put my thoughts back in the right place by shifting my mindset and saying, but no one has done it from your perspective. No one is doing the exact same things that you are doing in the exact same way. They might be doing something similar, but they may have a different routine or a different rhythm or different vision or goal for their family than yours. And I've realized, even most recently when I started doing more interviews, people are like, wow, I need to hear more of this. I need to hear more. And so that constant need of even just interactions with people who are requiring more from me, I realize that's the season I'm in. More is required. To whom much is given, much is required. And you have been given a life worthy of the calling, that means that much is going to be required from you. If you don't have a plan in place, if you don't have the right posture or heart posture to be able to proceed through life knowing that and knowing what's to come ahead for you, you are going to struggle. So I hope that you are in a position right now where you're recognizing the power of community. I hope that you're plugged into a community that is serving you well, a sisterhood that looks to build you up and help you on this mission that you and I are both on in life. And this is why I say every woman is a woman of significance. No one is more important than the other because we all have something to share. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I also believe that significant women have significant circles to build. And circles can mean whatever you need it to mean. To me, circles are networks. To me, circles are sisterhoods. They can be friendships related to business as a circle. I have a circle of business friends. I have a circle of mom friends. I have a circle of family friends, and they're my family members, but I believe that we've developed great relationships and friendships. So there are circles in that regard. Um, you just have circles to build. You have communities that need to be built. You have networks that need to be built. And we talked yesterday about the leader and how we're required to build. And so we talked extensively about equipping, but we also have this call and this urge to build up things. And so maybe there is something that already exists, but it's been torn down or it's been neglected or it needs a renovation. And we just come in and we help to restore it. So building doesn't necessarily mean starting something from scratch. Sometimes things just need a restoration and a renovation. And so the remnants are there, but it's in bits and pieces. And they can use a lot of love, a lot of patience, a lot of gentleness, a lot of humbleness, all the things that we discussed from that scripture in Ephesians. And it needs your personal touch. So, thinking about ways that you can use your significance to build circles as well. I know that women in leadership to me is the most powerful thing that can exist. I want to see more women lead. Our world desperately needs more women in leadership in our communities, in our government, politics, in homes, in schools, universities, churches, everywhere. I want to see more women taking the reins because I believe that we have a certain way that we go about doing things, and it's needed in our world today. And it's not to say that men cannot lead. We have powerful leaders in our men, but we do have men who are not leading. And we have women who have beautiful visions who are not leading because of faulty belief systems. And if you can get out of your head for just a minute and recognize the power and the authority that is already inside of you that you carry, and how it is desperately trying to inch its way out into the world and become more brilliant, more magnified, more amplified, you are literally the missing piece to what society needs today. You're the missing piece. And as a believer myself, I know that a part of my job is to equip women in leadership and to encourage more women to lead. So I want you to think about your assignment. How do you feel about women in leadership? I know that we say sometimes we want to see more women lead. Yeah, girl power. Woo! But what do you really feel about it? I know that I've heard several stories about how women should not lead in the church. That's been very interesting to hear that from different circles of church friends. I didn't know a lot of the things that I've heard regarding that conversation. So I don't want to just leave it to judgment that everybody has the same ideal about women in leadership. But this is an opportunity for you to reflect this week about how you feel about women in leadership positions. I know I feel strongly, passionately about women who lead in business, especially through entrepreneurship, especially if they are women of color, because women of color don't often experience the full success through entrepreneurship. We don't get words like integrity and wonderful customer service, consistency, excellence attached to our names. Not always. I know some wonderful women who are, though. Wonderful women who are. But I want to see more. And I want us to stop showing up in a less than attitude. I want us to show up in the brilliance that we are. And that requires a lot. That's the part where we lose a lot of people. The requirement of the work. It sounds good in theory, but when you got to show up each and every time, each and every day, sometimes it pulls you away from other areas of life. It is difficult. Women in leadership, to me, is not a simple, easy to quantify thing. It is very, very difficult. And it requires a lot of work, a lot of balance, and a lot of support, a lot of grace, and a lot of love. And I realized this when I answered this question for myself. So, thinking beyond just the surface level, I want you to think about how you feel about women in leadership positions. What is your real stance on that? Because if you are a woman who is called to lead, who has a desire to lead, it's important to begin with your own reflection first so that you can lead from a better place. So, that is your assignment for tonight. And once again, I want you to affirm this: I am a masterpiece full of infinite worth. Again, your worth is never ending. You are beautiful. You are worthy of attention. You are something to behold, a sight to see, a woman of significance. And I don't want you to ever, ever, ever forget that. You are a masterpiece full of infinite worth. And your next steps. I want you to repeat that affirmation to yourself. I want you to pray and journal on your leadership journey because I believe that after this challenge, if it's not been activated, it will be soon. And I want you to start thinking about what that means for you. What does your leadership journey mean? What could it mean for you to step out on faith and step out and build those circles of significance? Use significant words, create and support significant causes in your community, and just to make a significant difference in someone else's life. What does that mean for you? What could that mean for you? What could change for you? What could change for your family? What could change for your life and your lifestyle? And so I want you to join me tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I got some big news for you, and I have a beautiful gift to give away as well. So I want to make sure that you are here with me 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on live. If you cannot make it at that time, whatever time you can join, be sure to catch the replay. I'm leaving all the replays up all week until the challenge is up. And make sure that you do the assignments if you are getting caught up. I know in the description there is a link to the journal, but I'm also going to post it here. ReginaCola.com/SSCW for the Search for a Significance Challenge workbook. Make sure that you have it and that you are taking notes there. And once again, you can stay connected with me by joining the MotivatHER Text Club at 770-746-8240 so that you can stay in the know with what we have going on here at MotivatHER. Get notifications for when I'm going live so that you can join in full in the flesh, get your questions answered, make comments that'll help you change your life, and get connected with other women who are on the same journey that you are as well. I thank you so much for joining me again for day 4 of the Search for Significance 5-day identity challenge. I am praying for you. I am loving on you. And I can't wait to see what significant difference you make in our world. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.